let's get into this next video. We're going to talk about color correction. So let's say I want to change the color of my shoe here to something completely different, but I don't want to change the background and I don't want to change the color of my soles or my logos. So to do that, first and foremost, what am I going to do? You guessed it. I'm going to duplicate my background layer, Command J. Go ahead and rename it. I'm going to call this little guy All Star. And now I'm going to find my selection tool over here, which is right here. Remember, if you don't know what a tool does, you can go ahead and hover over it and Photoshop will give you a cute little demo. But now that I've gotten this one, I want to try my object selection tool. And this works best when you're trying to select something that's on a contrasting image or background. And this blue and red, they're perfect together. So this is going to make a pretty great selection for me. Perfect. So now, like I said, I don't want my soles to change and I don't want my Converse All-Star to change. So I'm going to move over to my quick selection tool. And mind you, everything with inside the shoe, the entire shoe is selected. So I want to deselect and go over to my subtract from selection. And then I'm going to make this brush so much bigger because it's really, really small right now. So I'm going to use my brackets, right bracket, to size it up. And then I'm just going to paint, and it will do a good job of filling in for me as I move my brush. You just got to be careful not to get too close to the parts that you want to keep, because otherwise it might accidentally select that as well. So I'm going to move this. It looks good to me. Awesome. Now, I want you to do all of these little, what are those called? Metal loops. Do all of them. I'm going to show you how I did one or two, and then I want you to do all of them, but just so we're not wasting your time here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I should be able to just click on this because this is a pretty good sized, and it made almost like a perfect shape around it. This next one's going to be a little bit difficult because it's got the lace coming out of it, but no need to fear. I can go ahead and make my brush smaller using that left bracket and just start to click around, adding it to the selection. Doing good. Make it even smaller. Get down here. I can even draw with it if I think that would be best if you got a steady hand. And this is looking pretty okay. So now I want to change the color, and to do that, I'm gonna go over here to my adjustments, and I'm gonna find this first tab for hue and saturation. And then I'm just going to drag my slider. I can do whatever color I want. Let's go for, I think I'm feeling this like mustard and chartreuse combination. Looks pretty good to me. Now I can even hold Alt or Option and click my mask here and get a zoom or a close-up of what my selection was. And this is pretty cool because if I wanted to use this to add or subtract from my selection, I could do that by using my brush panel over here. And so right now my brush is on 50 pixels as my size and 30% as my hardness. If you're not on the right brush, make sure you go to General Brushes and you go to Hard Round, and that will give you the most pixels and the most intense type of selection that you can make. So recall that black reveals and white conceals. So if I go painting over my selection, I'm gonna actually remove color from those parts. and you should see some red slashes. Watch this. Red slashes all through my shoe. If I don't want that, I can Command Z, or I can go to my history up here and remove that. But that is really the gist of it. I've got my tools there that I can use. Another thing I can do if I wanted to play with the saturation of it, I can make it even more vibrant or make it gray. That's cool. Just depends on what you want to do. So go ahead and play around with that. Honestly, you might not even need to make selections around, because this is the one that I added a mask to, or I added to my selection, and I didn't. And it did change my color slightly. So you play with it and you decide what works best for you. But okay, sounds good. Get to it.